The International Monetary Fund says about 23 African countries are in debt distress and are struggling with repayments.
ECA is calling for debt suspension, debt services suspension. So far, only 32 African countries benefited from debt suspension by the IMF of a total of 9.3 billion. And we are arguing for more debt suspension, services suspension, and we are also arguing for on-lending of SDR, special drawing rights, so that African countries can have more access to international resources.
Countries in the continent say they have been forced to borrow more or default on payments because of recent events. Already, challenging economic situations were made worse while combating the COVID-19 pandemic. And now, the Russia-Ukraine conflict is limiting the supply of agricultural products to the continent. The UN Economic Commission for Africa says there may be a short-term solution if the IMF increases the funds available for access amid the tough economic times. In 2021, the IMF approved a general allocation of special drawing rights equivalent to about $650 billion. Of this, about $275 billion has been allocated to emerging markets and developing countries, including low-income countries where African countries fall. But the ECA says this is insufficient, and it advocates that Africa alone gets up to $650 billion to stabilize itself.
75% of the African economy is driven by the middle-income countries. Now, these are the countries that are having a challenge with the question of debt. So, unless you recognize that without dealing with the pressure that countries like Egypt, Kenya, South Africa, Ghana are facing, that you'll not be doing much in terms of saying that you are helping the African economy.
SDRs are allocated on a quarter basis, meaning that developed nations end up getting more than less developed countries in Africa. China and France are among the developed nations that have reportedly offered to have part of their quota reallocated to countries in need. And this experts meeting here ahead of the Ministers of Finance meeting say other developed countries should do the same. Coletta, Wanjohi, CGTN, Dakar, Senegal.